The Carolina Pro Football Report, presented by National PAL. Support National PAL at nationalpal.org.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bank of America Stadium. It's the first game of the season for the Carolina Panthers, getting ready to take on the New York Jets. And it couldn't be better weather for these Carolina fans to get back out and cheer on the hometown boys in full capacity. I'm Kevin Tolbert along with Colin Cole. Colin, this is amazing to be back in football.
Not only is it amazing to be back in football, Kevin, I mean, God gave us a glorious, glorious day to be out here at Bank of America. I mean, couldn't ask for better weather, couldn't ask for a better day. I mean, football is in the air. I'm excited for the day.
Well, the last time these two teams met, it was a Panthers victory, but the guy at the helm was none other than Cam Newton, guy I'm sure you're familiar with.
Absolutely, and Cam Newton definitely led that team to a victory. And the thing about that team and that season is it was one that was marred with some difficulty, but against this program, against this team, as well as back in 2013, I gotta say I could compound that. Last two victories against this team was a part of I got to see. So it was amazing to see that 2013, and then that team that did it back in 15 was a great game as well.
Well, now they've moved on to a different quarterback, new guy running the show for them, new head coach now in Matt Rule. So a lot of new things going on here. They also have a lot of new captains this year. They selected the captains recently, and a lot of first-timers. Seem like locker room favorites.
Yes, locker room favorites, but also guys that have stepped up in maturity. Guys like Brian Burns, who only in his fourth year, only in his third season, who has played extremely well, becoming one of the league's leaders in sacks. Dante Jackson, a cornerback, who has stepped up his game over the seasons as we've seen year after year. And rounding out that defense, we have Shaq Thompson, who is a perennial captain, obviously, has been a stellar defender for this defense. And then on offensive side, Christian McCaffrey, he's been there, he's done that. He's definitely the face of this franchise, as well as the captain. Sam Darnold, who we talked about coming from the Jets. The team has definitely decided on him being the captain as well as a quarterback. So Taylor Moton, offensive tackle. So they've rounded out their captains with J.J. Jansen, long snapper, and it's a stellar group of guys who are your core group of guys on this team, and guys who they look to definitely have a stronghold in terms of being captains as well as being leaders in the locker room.
Now, one of the things that Brian Burns touched on with regard to becoming a captain now is how much he's matured. Talk about how important is that for these guys to start stepping up and maturing to get to the next level?
Well, I would say for Brian Burns, a guy like him, he's kind of coming out of the shadows of guys who have been older than him over the years. And so now, over the last couple of years, he's been kind of that guy on the defensive line who is that veteran and who has been in the trenches for this program. So for him to show his maturity going into year 4, being able to be voted by his teammates to be captain is an amazing attribute to him and his maturity, but just really shows how much his teammates believe in him and his productivity and what he brings to the team.
Now, they've got a guy back that everyone loves. It's the CMC train. He's back on the tracks. He's fully healthy. This guy just doesn't stop giving.
Well, as we know, he is a large percentage of what this offense is when he's healthy. So for him to be back and be healthy right now, I think right now we're going to see a little bit of a snap count early to kind of to gauge his how much they really want to get him in. Obviously, they want to get the full load and get him in the game, but you got to make sure that you don't do too much and load him too much early and possibly lose him again. So at this point, there's the opportunity to get him back in the game, get him some live reps, and try to gauge where he is fully physically, and I believe that he's fully healthy, and we're going to get a chance to see that here today.
Well, he's got more than 5,800 career yards from scrimmage. Definitely a bonus for the Panthers as well as McCaffrey, but he's also getting ready to hit another mark with 1 touchdown receiving and 1 rushing touchdown today. He steps into the record books again.
he gets a chance to surpass the Minnesota Vikings great Chuck Foreman, who I actually follow, or we're friends on Facebook by chance. It's crazy, but who has held that record for many, many years, dating back to the late 70s, I believe. And so a great opportunity for Christian today to be able to, or just this season period, to be able to surpass that record. And with his abilities and what he brings to the table, I'm sure that record will fall.
So you've got Christian McCaffrey, Mr. Record Book, but you also have a new guy running the show in the huddle, and that's Sam Darnold. He was 20 for 27 in the preseason, 178 yards passing. He's starting to become an amazing person himself.
You know, the thing about Sam Darnold is he had full control of the offense while he was in the game during the preseason. So it's going to be exciting to see how he steps up and steps into this game again today against a program that he knows a little bit. Obviously, with Coach Saleh coming over, it's a whole new regime. Going to see some different things that he hadn't seen from that group. However, it's the same personnel, and I think that the command that he had in the preseason of this offense is going to carry over into this first game. I'm excited to see how this offense goes, especially with Joe Brady's, invented offense. I'm excited to see how he gets those wide receivers. I'm excited to see how he gives those guys an opportunity to make some plays and get out there on the edge.
Well, one of the things they'll be depending on is the O-line. So I'm sure Pat Myers is kind of on pins and needles right now.
You only carry so many guys into each game, so everybody is very well needed. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go. Cam Irving, with his versatility, adds a different dimension to that rounded out offensive line. But like you said, with having a guy in the COVID protocol right now, it definitely adds some pressure to the offensive line group. So they're going to have to make some things happen. However, I think they're going to be able to make it through.
Well, it's great to have a stout O-line and have them ready to go, but you can't make anything happen unless you're getting the ball out.
Yes, no question. The thing about it is that we already know the issues with offensive linemen being in COVID protocol, and having shorthanded or being shorthanded in the offensive line, especially you only carry 6 or 7 of those guys into each game. So the signature of Joe Brady's offense is being able to get the ball out quickly. So that's going to play to the favor of the offensive line. Not having to put too much pressure on those guys up front, having to sit back and protect too long. So that's what we're looking at in terms of getting the ball out to DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, the young Marshall that's coming in this rookie this year. So I'm excited to see how those guys play out, how Sam Darnold's command of this offense is able to control that and get the ball out quickly.
So now we get to the good part.
That's right.
At least your good part.
That's right.
It's the defense.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are amazing up front, and they're starting to get some of the answers that they need in the secondary. They're looking pretty stout.
We already know the captain, the head honcho up front, Brian Burns. We know him. Derek Brown, first rounder last year. Bravion Roy stepped in and made some plays. Who we don't know very much about, Daquan Jones, is going to be starting this year. How is he going to play at the 3 technique? He's going to get pressure. He's going to get push and really create a new offensive line, really. Create a new line of scrimmage, I should say, in terms of what a 3 technique does, especially as it pertains to Phil Snow's defense. It's going to be exciting to see how this group rounds out. We have Hassan Reddick and Derek Brown, not Derek Brown, but Morgan Fox, who was also starting opposite Brian Burns, who, he's going to have a lot of pressure on him because there's going to be doubles and triple teams on Brian Burns. So a guy like Fox is going to have to be a guy who they're going to rely on to get added pressure when they're only bringing 4 down linemen. So it's going to be exciting to see who really steps up and steps out. But I'm more excited to see. Who I'm more excited to see? My man Davion Nixon out of the University of Iowa. Who, let me just say this for a second, Kevin. University of Iowa had a pretty nice win last night against Iowa State. So to those of y'all that don't know, number 10 beat number 9 last night, Iowa. But let me get back to that. Davion Nixon. I expect to see him in that rotation again, in that defensive tackle rotation, and I'd love to see what he does today against this Jets front.
Well, one guy that may still be causing problems for the Panthers today, they'll have to figure out an answer for, is the big man in the interior, Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams, I got a chance to look at him a little bit, and that guy, he fits the bill as to why he's a number 3 pick a couple years ago. Explosive, strong young man, great long arms, and just has really exploded on the scene as of 2020. And so I think he's looking for an even bigger season coming into this season, and he's going to be a problem on the interior for this offensive line for the Carolina Panthers.
They had some decisions to make at defensive back, and it seems like they pulled those out as well.
Yeah, so they decided that they're going to be starting their 5th and 6th rounders this game. A couple of young guys on the back end. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Panthers adjust and how they attack those young guys, especially Sam Darnold with that quick passing game. He's got a lot of explosive ability out there on the edge with Robbie Anderson. And so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they attack these young guys.
I think it's really, I think it's really about the system. I mean, we really don't know what they're going to do. They've been, they come out of, Matt LaFleur comes out of the LaFleur brothers, Mike and Matt. They've come out of Shanahan's system. Sean McVay, all those guys. I mean, they do such a great job of running that wide zone system with all the complementary things. A lot of college type offensive things, speed sweeps, turbo motions, RPOs. I mean, there's a lot. And so we just don't know what we're going to see. So we're defending, 3 preseason games. We're defending 17 games last year at the 49ers. Obviously, Zach's a tremendously talented quarterback. He's looked great in the preseason. He's a winner. He's a gamer. So for us, it's really about us just being really sound in what we do. And we do a lot of different things defensively. We go from 4 down to 3 down to a bunch of stuff as well. So we have to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing in our assignments. And to me, they have balance. Coming out of that Coach Shanahan system, it's it's going to be 50-50 run pass. They're going to fall forward, be in 2nd and 6, 3rd and 4, convert first downs. It'll be a grinded physical game, and that's the type of team I respect, and I know Coach Sala will have them there.
Zach Wilson, he's the guy up front for the Jets, but he's a rookie. They'll be trying to poke holes in him for sure.
Well, anytime you're starting a rookie quarterback, you got to anticipate defensive coordinators try to just see how comfortable they are with the pro game. As we all know, the pro game is just a little bit faster than that college game. Even though Zach Wilson was a Heisman talk, and even though he led that BYU team to a record-setting season, this is the NFL, and things move just a little bit faster. So I expect to see Phil Snow's defense to be flying around today. I expect to see a couple of unscouted and unseen looks from this defense. Going to really get after this young quarterback.
So a lot of excitement building around opening day. The fans are excited. The players are excited. Everybody's waiting. And I know some of these guys, they really want to hit someone. But the one thing that they are sure to remember, the NFL is leading the way in honoring the survivors and the victims of 9/11.
That's something we all got to remember. 20 years ago, yesterday was when this nation was rocked, and this organization that we're playing the game was obviously close to that horrific day. But I remember that day. I remember when that happened, and I remember how everything kind of stood still 20 years ago. And the NFL is doing an honorable thing as all across the league, as well as programs across all sports, doing things to honor and commemorate those people that are victims and everybody who was a victim in remembrance of 9/11.
Well, before we get out of here, Colin, you got to tell us, who do you have in today's game?
Well, due to some of the things that I know about their program, knowing that they're starting 2 rookies at cornerback, knowing that they've lost some players on defense, especially on the defensive line, we talked about that. I feel like the Panthers are in a good position, welcoming back CMC. Sam Darnold's first game coming out against his former team. They obviously didn't part ways on a very good note, so I'm expecting for him to play a little bit emotionally. They may not say it, but I think he'll be playing a little bit emotional. And he's going to come out and throw the ball around and really take advantage of Joe Brady's offense. So I feel like this is a Panthers win today. I feel like this is going to definitely be a Panthers win today, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I don't know, it's going to be low scoring with Phil Snow's defense really taking it to this Jets offense, or if Sam Darnold really just starts exploding on the scene and getting the ball out to Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and these receivers, as well as CMC. Let me not forget the most important part of this offense, number 22 in that backfield. I expect to see him get his touches early and often and get the ball in his hands via screen draws, handoffs, however they may be. We're going to see a lot of 22 today.
Well, that about does it for the pregame edition of the Pro Football Report on ADSN, brought to you by National PAL. Remember, nationalpal.org. You got to support the kids. They're our future.
That's right. Got to support them.
The National Police Athletic and Activities League helps support the mission of kids, cops, and communities. nationalpal.org.